Hello, my dear friends. Are you ready for a story? Today, I have a really wonderful one for you. It's called The Farmer and the Well. So, let's dive right in. Our story is all about a hardworking farmer, a great big well full of water, and, well, a neighbor who was just a little bit tricky. So, once upon a time, there was this really hardworking farmer. All day long, you could find him in his fields taking such good care of all his little plants, making sure they grew up into yummy, healthy food for everyone to eat. You know, plants can get super thirsty, just like we do. So, to make sure his plants always had lots of water to drink, the farmer decided to buy a well from his neighbor. What a smart idea, right? But, uh-oh, it turns out his neighbor was a bit of a trickster. The very next day, when our farmer went to get some water, his neighbor was standing right there with his arms crossed, blocking the path. I wonder what's going on here. Can you guess what the tricky neighbor said? Our poor farmer was just so confused. I bet he was thinking, but I just bought this well. Why can't I use it? Get ready for this. The neighbor said, I sold you the well, but I didn't sell you the water inside it. That water is still mine. What? Can you even believe that? That sounds so silly. Do you think that was fair at all? No way. The poor farmer felt so sad and so worried. He was thinking all about his poor, thirsty plants. He just didn't know what to do. But you know what? Our farmer was also very smart. He knew this whole thing was not right, so he decided to go and ask for help from the wise people in his village. Now, these wise people were called the PANCHAYAT. That's just a big word for a group of kind and very clever grown-ups who are absolutely amazing at solving problems and making sure everything is fair for everyone. So everyone came and sat together under a big, shady tree. First, the farmer told his side of the story, and then the tricky neighbor told his side. The wise helpers listened with their ears wide open, trying to understand everything. So, what would you do if you were the wise chief? It was a really tricky problem, wasn't it? But then, the village chief got a little twinkle in her eye. She thought for a moment, and then a little smile appeared. She had a super-duper clever idea. She looked right at the tricky neighbor, ready to solve the whole problem. She said, okay, you have two choices. You can either take all of your water out of the farmer's well right now, or you have to pay the farmer to keep your water inside his well. Wow, she used his own trick right back at him. How smart is that? The tricky neighbor's jaw just dropped. He knew he was caught. I mean, there was no way he could take all that water out of the deep well, and he definitely did not want to pay for it. His tricky plan had completely fallen apart. And so, the neighbor learned a very big lesson about being honest. He said he was very sorry, and our wonderful, happy farmer could finally get all the water he needed for his plants. Hooray! So, what's the big idea we learned from this story? That's right, it's always best to be fair and honest. Playing tricks can get you into trouble, but being kind and thinking cleverly can solve even the biggest problems. It makes me think, how do you share your toys with your friends? When you share fairly, everyone has more fun, right? It's something to think about. Thanks so much for listening to our story today. See you next time. Bye-bye.